All right, everyone. Welcome to this new moon Sidereal astrology forecast. This is for January 16th and 17th, 2018. And this video is for Sidereal astrology. If you were expecting this new moon to be in Capricorn, according to Sidereal, we have a new moon in Sagittarius. So if you are new to the channel, not sure what Sidereal astrology is, be sure to check out that link down below. We're using the actual size of the constellations, which does change the signs from mainstream astrology. All right, so new moon in Sagittarius, new beginnings, really good part of the week to sit with the energy, see what new is being cultivated in our life. And it could very well have to do with the qualities of the centaur. So bottom half horse, top half human or spiritual being, incorporating these two qualities with this constellation. So the horse is all about freedom, right? It's all about expanding our horizons. And then the human side of it, which is about spirituality. It's about purpose. It's about our life path direction, which comes from trusting our instincts to expand our horizon. So some of the qualities with this new moon will be the spirit for life, the power of thinking big, the power of open-mindedness, right? And through that, maybe gaining a sense of perspective, some purpose, and life direction through that. So that's the new moon generally with those qualities, but the aspects, we do have a conjunction with Venus. So there could be some new values coming about through this new moon. Maybe some new understanding about relationships, or quite literally some new things with relationships. Square up to Uranus does suggest maybe a bit of erratic energy. If you are feeling this, we'll talk about how to work with that constructively. And then a sextile up to Mars and Chiron. So there could be a bit of motivation and also maybe some healing with this new moon. All right, so let's look at all of this here in more detail when we return. All right, here's the chart for the new moon. So it is going to be at 2309 Eastern time on Tuesday. So for all intents and purposes, both days, but if you are in Europe or the East, more so on Wednesday the 17th. But these 2 days, nonetheless, really good for sitting with this energy, especially on Tuesday leading up to it. We will be in the very ending phase of the current cycle, so we'll be good to do some clearing, let go of some things internally, maybe get some meditative time, create some space for what will be these new qualities coming in. So the new qualities of Sagittarius is about this open-mindedness, right? That spirit for life, trusting our instincts. It's a fire sign, so it's very much about trusting our instincts and how our instincts really don't ever lead us astray. So long as we have a good understanding of them, we can trust them, and we know it's the instincts that are speaking. So trusting our instincts, right? And tapping into that adventurousness for life, that spirit for life, right? And then what comes from that is a much more open perspective, an open mind, open belief systems. Then there's positivity, because we're seeing the big picture. And where there's positivity, there's more that's allowed into our life, right? It's the power of manifestation. What we think, right, is what can come into our sphere. What we don't think, we don't perceive, can't come into our sphere. So the larger our perspective, the more we can allow in, right? So great for this expanding our mind, expanding physically, literally expansion, travel, adventure, that spirit for life, emotional expansion as well, right? So really good for this. But this is very much about Sagittarius being at the top of the chart like this is very much about particularly expanding our minds, all right, to what's possible, being open-minded, and thus that spirit for life. And through this, there can be a bit of understanding about our path in a way. The centaur is holding that bow and arrow very purposefully, all right? It's about purpose and us discovering a little bit more about what our purpose is once we have that more expansive worldview. So along with these new beliefs, these new perspectives, this new spirit, there is also this slightly more clarity about what our life path is. We don't know exactly what that is ever, really, but a little bit more about what our path is, because it's trusting that spirit. Because our life path is supposed to be freeing, linked with that instinctual aspect of ourself, the horse side of the centaur. All right, so new beginnings, great to sit with it. This is going to be in different houses for everyone, so do check your weekly forecast to see which house this is associated with. But collectively for everyone, it's the time of year for incorporating some of these new Sagittarius qualities. All right, so the new moon is going to be conjunct up to Venus, so there could be some new values with this. What we value about adventurousness, what we value about open-mindedness could certainly be the case. And also relationships. There could be a new perspective on this as well, right? Existing relationships having a new perspective that are maybe more freeing and open-minded, and new relationships as well. So really good for that. That's going to depend on what houses Venus rules. Again, do check your weekly for that. But new beginnings with our values and relationships, collectively speaking. All right, so with that, there is going to be a square up to Chiron. So this is the challenging side of the new moon. All in all, the new moon does look more supportive or easier to work with, but there is this challenging side with the square up to Chiron. But there's a constructive way of working with squares. And in this context, what Uranus has been helping us learn over the past like 8 years now is how to let go of what's outside of our control. And through that surrender of what's outside of our control, a tremendous amount of freedom arises, right? And what we don't have control over is really everything that is not in the present moment and within our immediate sphere of influence, which is primarily ourselves and how we respond to things. So anything that's not in the present moment, it's surrendering that. And that can create a lot of ease, especially if you are feeling with the square, depending on your personal chart, if you're feeling a bit erratic, wanting to break free, wanting to make some sudden changes with this square. This is particularly the case last weekend. So whatever that's been, if you felt that, the constructive way here is to implement Pisces, what Uranus and Pisces has been helping us do. Let go of what's outside of our control to have more freedom. The Uranus type of freedom is the freedom of our higher self, of our true self, you could say, right? Of our individuality, that kind of freedom. But in either case, as we incorporate more of that Pisces, living in the present moment, yes, seeing the freedom that arises from that. So very good to work on that consciously with the square. Now the sextiles are quite nice. Actually, new moon is going to be sextiling Mars and Chiron. So these are more of just openings. They're just opportunities. We can choose or choose not to work with them. And in this case, Mars, maybe a bit of action, initiative available. Maybe it does have to do with relationships with Mars in Libra. Jupiter expanding Libra in 2018. Opportunities to have more reciprocity in our life, develop relationships. And then the sextile up to Chiron is feeling maybe a bit rejuvenated or healed, especially because December was a very healing month. And so we're coming out of that, right? And Chiron now in good aspect means we could be feeling a bit rejuvenated. But if you do feel that there's an opportunity with this new moon or this next lunar month to heal, I think there's an opening for that. It could be easier to do so, and we could be feeling rejuvenated quite easily from that. All right, so that's the new moon in a nutshell. Sagittarius is a very important sign for the next couple of years because we did just have Saturn enter Sagittarius last month in December, helping us build things that are now based more on freedom, based more on our life path and our purpose. So now it's another step in the right direction with this. All right, so great to sit with this. Like I said, as we approach the new moon, the ending phase will be clearing out the past cycle, which was a healing cycle of Ophiuchus, and now starting something new, which is the more expansive, adventurous, free-spirited aspects of ourself, the power of manifestation through open-mindedness, through expanding our belief systems. All right, and those are the aspects for those of you that want to see. We still do have Jupiter sextiling Pluto. Made a video about that yesterday. Do check that out if you haven't. 2018, I think there's going to be a lot about our belief systems changing and empowering ourselves through making some changes. But this new moon is definitely a step in that direction as well. All right, so have a fantastic new moon, everyone. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you very soon for the next daily forecast.